how to solve one-step equations. First, as an equation, it should have an equal sign. One side of the equation, and then an equal sign, and the other side of the equation. So we're going to use the inverse operation associated with the variable. On the left side, you can see here there's a variable. So the inverse of adding 3, or the opposite of adding 3, would be to subtract 3. Step 2, use the same operation from step 1 to the value of the other side of the equation. So we would go over to the other side of the equal sign and use that same operation. Next, the side of the equation with the variable should only have the variable left over. So positive 3 take away 3 is 0. That means we only have x left over. The equal sign comes down, and our last step 4, calculate the value of the other side of the equation to equal the variable. 40 take away 3 would leave us 37. Other ways to look at one-step equations, if you had a subtraction problem, like 30 equals x take away 7. Again, one side of the equation that has the variable, you would do the inverse operation, and whatever you do to one side, you'd have to do to the other side of the equation. Negative 7 plus 7 is 0, so the right side of the equation is left with x, and the left side of the equation would equal 37. If the equation was multiplying, like 5x equals 40, when they touch each other, remember that means multiply. So the opposite of multiplying, or the inverse of multiplying 5, would be dividing by 5, and you want to make sure you use your division bar. So 5 divided by 5 is just 1, so we're left with 1x, and 40 divided by 5 is 8. And our last way would be if your variable was being divided, as in x divided by 7 equals 11. So the inverse of dividing by 7, we would show it as multiplying by 7. And whatever you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other side of the equation. So in this case, 7 as a numerator cancels out 7, cross cancels out 7 as a denominator. We're left with x over 1, and x over 1 is really just x. On the right side of the equation, we do 11 times 7, which is 77, so our variable x equals 77.